darkness, my old friend. I've come to come with you again, because a vision softly creeping has been me while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here, Teddy is with me. It's quite late this evening, it's 9 o'clock already. The sun is just going down behind me, so I don't think we've got long left before it gets dark. I've been away on a first aid course, a 3-day first aid course. Finished it on Friday. All went well, passed it, it was all good. Enjoyed the course actually. And but although it's really hot, there's this constant wind we've had, and this wind hits the microphone and it's like trying to listen to a conversation when someone's blowing in your ear. It's really annoying, so I've not filmed anything outside. But I'm in a hole here. This is like a big hole in the ground, so this stops most of the wind. But I wanted to talk a little bit about reviews, perfume reviews, how they're taken. Luca Torin has put his new book out recently this week. Like the perfume guide, he reviews a whole bunch of perfumes from around the world and rates them out of 5 stars and does top 10 lists and things like that. It's been interesting watching on Facebook, seeing perfumers that I know posting what Luca's said about them, and some of them are not happy. I know a couple of perfumers that got quite poor reviews, 1 star, 2 star ratings. One of them described their perfume as hideous, so quite harsh reviews. He can really nail a brand and say that they're basically rubbish. It's funny in a way that I think most of the initial sales of that book are literally the perfumers themselves just hoping that they got a good review, and then when they see that they don't, it's going to hurt some feelings. I don't really get why he's so acclaimed, so to speak, like why anyone really cares that much about one person's opinion. To put it into perspective, it's just the same as anybody else. I don't think his opinion is any more valid than anyone else's in the world. So, what he says is a 1 star, other people might think is a 5 star, and vice versa. You might think the ones in his top 10 list are crap, and the ones that he trashes you might really like. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter who you are, make up your own mind, use your own logic and your own sensibilities and sense of smell, and rely on yourself, not other people. Reviewers really don't matter in a way, in myself included. It's just an opinion, it's a personal opinion about a personal taste about something which is subjective. So all we can do as a reviewer is share our own thoughts and feelings, but they don't have to be accepted by anybody else. It shouldn't affect judgment from other people. My opinion shouldn't affect your judgment too much. You can take it into consideration, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to go out and sample things and try them and make up your own mind and opinion. What's interesting as well is that I'm a reviewer that's known for doing more critical reviews. Not all my reviews are raving positive reviews. There's plenty of fragrances that I don't like, and I try to do it in a tasteful way and tell you why I don't like it. And I don't go out of my way to completely destroy a brand without really valid kind of logical reasons to why I don't like something. I don't do it just out of hate. But when I do reviews like that, I can get really nasty comments. I get private messages, I get brand owners and perfumers messaging me, in some cases raging at me in massive long essays telling me why I'm wrong, telling me that my nose isn't that good, and who do I think I am, and and that one instance I think someone had a little bit too much to drink and basically said what have you ever done with your life? And it upsets people that much if you verbally say that you don't like something. I think a lot of it as well is a little bit based on ego, and people don't like to admit they have an ego, and that puts you into a defense mechanism, and you lash out, even if it's a perfectly valid and honest opinion that you can't really argue with. It's just someone else's opinion. It damages the ego. So I think it's important to put things into perspective. I think perfume is a passionate thing for a lot of people. It hurts deeper. I mean, there's a lot of other art forms that are critiqued far more subjectively and harshly than perfume is, and people don't get the same emotional anguish from that. It's normal. But with perfume reviews, people get very emotional. I know brand owners and perfumers can be just filled with anxiety, and maybe they won't eat that day because someone did a video trashing them, and it'll make them feel sick. I can totally get that, but it's not just ego, it's emotional as well. It's an emotional response, and then you're thinking about, oh, this is going to affect my sales, this is going to reflect poorly on my brand, my image is damaged. It's ego and emotional and all these things wrapped up into this thing that builds up in you, and then so I understand that negative reviews are very difficult for perfumers to deal with, but I think a better way to look at it is that for every opinion there's an equally honest but opposite opinion, and it doesn't mean that either person is wrong. It just means that people have different opinions and different tastes, and it really doesn't matter how talented you think you are or how talented you might be. You might think you made the greatest fragrance in the world, but there'll be a lot of people in the world that will turn around to you and say, that's crap, I don't like it. And you just have to accept that it doesn't matter what you make or how talented you think you are. And from personal experience, some perfumers are very, very some of them have big egos, some of them have massive confidence in themselves, big egos, narcissism or narcissistic personality definitely comes into the equation in some cases. So these are people with a lot of pride and a lot of self-belief and self-worth, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when you damage into that, that cuts, which is why the reaction is so strong, and no one likes to be held up and have a reflection of themselves like that. The way I'm viewing things now is I feel it's important to accept all views, all opinions, whether it be negative or positive. I think they're equally valid. It was said to me by a brand owner that basically you should only review things that you like, and if you don't like it, keep your mouth shut. There's no need to share that. And basically, if you were to review things negatively, you'll get what's coming to you, in more of a better wording. And I think that's rubbish. I think you should be allowed, like Luca Turin does, although, it's funny. Luca Turin is free to do this book to the world, and he can quite happily trash a fragrance brand, which can, with his influence, can damage the business. It can have an effect on sales, no doubt about it. He can definitely affect stuff there way beyond any YouTuber can, because his reach is far bigger. A lot of people in the world will buy that book. But if a YouTube reviewer that says something critical like that, they'll get crap for it. So it's a little bit of a strange thing. It makes me wonder actually how many hate emails or letters that Luca Turin gets in response to these books being published. I'm sure a lot of perfumers hate him. But what do you think about negative reviews? Do you think people shouldn't do negative reviews? Do you think that you should only find the positive in things and just ignore the negatives? Or do you think it's important to see both sides and you just do the negative in a tasteful way? Or do you think it's important that if you see something that you really don't agree with and you think is, BS, that you call that out and say it as it is? People have different opinions on that. I just try to be myself and be honest and say what I feel. And, not everyone agrees with that. But that's how I feel that I have to be. But also not to be closed-minded to the other view. I think you still have to be accepting that other people do have different opinions and will have different opinions, and you should accept that their other opinion is just as valid as yours, and don't be thinking that you're right and someone else is wrong. I think that's the trap that a lot of people, especially within this circle, fall into, that their opinion is right, another person's is wrong. If you don't, if a perfumer might think, well, they trashed my fragrance, they gave me a crap review, they just don't get it, they don't understand the fragrance, and they'll look down on that person, that they just don't understand what they're smelling in front of them, and that's a little bit patronising. I'm not saying that's the case but for everyone, but that certainly happens sometimes. So to finish up, be accepting of other people's opinions, and accept that not everyone is going to think the same as you, and that's okay, and that no one is right or wrong or more valid than anyone else. Luca Turin, I don't agree with a lot of his reviews, to be honest. I don't even make an effort to bother to reading them, because the ones I have read I don't agree with. I just sometimes I'm like thinking, man, is he even smelling the same thing as me? I don't quite, share his perspective, but that's fine. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter who you are. Don't think that you're some kind of perfume Jesus. There's no perfume god that decides that this is good and this is bad. What one person thinks is amazing, another person will think is crap, and vice versa. It's an emotional response, which can be from where you were born in the world to your upbringing to things you've experienced, and certain smells will influence you in certain ways depending on your life experience, and things that have happened to you and things that you've encountered in your life are going to determine what your taste is, and you can't control that. That's out of your hands. It's important to be accepting of other people, and that goes for anything like religion, race, gender. You just have to accept everything and everyone, that everyone is equal and everyone has their own place, and instead of looking for the differences, see the commonality instead, that we're all on the same planet. Leave your thoughts below, if you would, about negative reviews. What's your opinion on them? Should people shut up and not do the negative reviews because you don't want to upset the brand owner, or you don't want to upset people in general? Or do you think that negative reviews have a valid place within reviewing art? That's basically the topic of the video, even though I went down some tangents there. But it's a very emotional subject. I've noticed when I've done negative reviews, it's not just brand owners that get upset. It's people that love that fragrance get really upset if you don't like that, or you say something negative, because they're thinking, oh well, they want reinforcement and validation that their taste is good because somebody else likes it. And when someone else is saying that smells bad, they're like, oh, it's insecurity in themselves, I feel. If someone is lashing out, I mean, that, oh well, my taste isn't bad. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not my taste that's bad. It is, damn it, it's like a pride that it's insecurity in themselves, and they lash out and leave a horrible, nasty comment because you don't agree with them. And it's insecurity, I think. If you were secure in yourself and you were a solid person, it wouldn't matter if someone thought that the fragrance you like smells crap. It really wouldn't. You'd be like, you'd probably find it funny, because you realise that, yeah, so what? It doesn't matter. I love it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's not going to upset me. But some people do get upset, and that's the problem with doing more critical reviews. I'm going to have to keep moving because Teddy's being very patient here, waiting for me, talking. One thing I don't like is that I see sometimes perfumers, and these are always indie perfumers, self-taught indie perfumers, some of them can be incredibly patronising. And it's something I notice, especially on social media. If someone asks them a question, or asking for advice or knowledge or something about perfume making, some of the replies I read are very discouraging, putting people down or just discouraging them and kind of talking down to them in a way. I think it's not cool. You should always encourage learning and encourage knowledge and try and help people to the best of your ability if someone asks, especially, and not to discourage people, and especially not to be patronising. It's something I've noticed and I don't like, and those people I will avoid. I think you should make an effort in life to surround yourself with good people. You don't always have to be ridiculously positive all the time. That's not always realistic. But you should be a good person. Surround yourself with good people. There's a lot of beautiful people in perfumery. There's a lot of really awesome people. And I think there's a lot of hope for the future of perfume. But there's also people I don't like. People with big egos. People that are condescending. People that do things for the wrong reasons, people that I don't think are genuine. But there's going to be that in any art form, any world, any walk of life. You're going to get people like that that you just don't get along with and you don't agree with. But do your best to surround yourself with the people that you do and the people that are good and genuine and awesome people. I'll see you again in the next video. Beautiful sunset, isn't it? I'll take care. Bye bye.